everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're covering the Lego animated series, Legends of Chima.
The magical world of Chima, a land ruled by animals that walk, talk, drive vehicles, use machinery, and live in castles.
Just say their anthro.
Does this sound familiar? Was once a pristine natural paradise, but has now become a battleground where friends have become worse enemies, and where this was the replacement for Thundercats 2011.
But before we get into that travesty, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and Paws videos.
Yes.
Yes. So a little bit of background, which won't be that long. Legend of Chima came about because back in 2011 to 2012, Thundercats 2011 had finished its first season. But Cartoon Network felt that this show, the 2011 Thundercats, was too expensive to work on. They claimed it was because ratings were low and people weren't watching it. One part because they kept airing it late at night, so kids weren't seeing it. But another thing was that they said it was too expensive because the animation was being made in Japan instead of South Korea. So Lego had this idea to create their own version of Thundercats, but that'd be copyright. So they call it Legends of Chima. So Cartoon Network said, hey, this is actually way cheaper to make. We can get more seasons out of this. 2011, you're fired. And then this became the replacement for Thundercats with the exact same story.
2011.
Yes, with the exact same story, the exact same type of characters.
With the names like Kragger and Eris and Loggervis and Lavel and Razor and Gorbon and Scorm, and not cool at all.
And Lionel, you really couldn't get that much farther from Lionel.
And the voice cast, although probably a bunch of very nice, hard-working voice actors, we don't know any of them.
No, none of these people. We can't even name them all.
But the worst part of this show was that the storylines were too simple, non-sequitur, uninteresting, and the villain's sister just kept fanning a flower in front of his face so she can gain control of him, and it was really creepy that his sister really wanted to control him this much.
Right? It's like, maybe that's supposed to be developed later or something. I doubt it.
It was absolutely creepy because one minute he'd be ready to think on his own, and then she'd pull out this flower and start waving it like she was being seductive, and then he would suddenly start doing whatever she wanted.
Well,
it was creepy.
Well, when you think about the designs of the Lego characters and they're all block figures. Now keep in mind they're not anthropomorphized, like they make them look animal-like and human-like. They're Lego animals that just have the build of Lego humans. So, in terms of what their little block designs have on them and the clothing, the way she had her stuff painted on, it seemed like she was supposed to be like the seductive one in a children's show. So, maybe that was the idea, and her voice, the way she spoke, the way she acted, I think she was supposed to be like the sinister, beautiful crocodile, reptile person.
Who wanted to control her brother with a flower, and it was creepy.
Stranger danger, danger. So I'm thinking that's probably was the idea, but it didn't come off as intimidating as it was supposed to be because of the format it was in.
The only thing worse than this is Thundercats Roar.
This was more competent. This was actually competent for most of the time.
And we went into it with an open mind saying, hey, let's see, was the money they put into this worth it? Yes. And then not even halfway through the first episode, a big resounding no. Now, maybe this is more appealing for small children who don't know the difference, who didn't know the difference. And maybe it was successful with that target group, ages maybe 2 to 5. But beyond that, I don't see this holding the attention of anyone above a certain age, because it just didn't. There was nothing there. And that they would take this and replace Thundercats 2011 with this show as if it's an equivalent exchange. That's alchemy. No, it doesn't work. Do you not know how alchemy works?
And yes, there were even a bunch of times where they kind of referenced Thundercats. Like I said, they use magic like them. It's anthro animals. You have a lion prince in a lion kingdom who's supposed to be above the other animals, which was the sort of controversial part of the 2011 that they added. And the only thing they really did different here is that the enemies instead of the lizard people, which became enemies later. Two of them were friends, and they became enemies unintentionally. That was the only thing they kind of had different from 2011, because they kind of proposed the idea of what if they got along with the lizards instead of just being afraid of everybody that wasn't a lion. That's the closest thing they got to doing something different, and some races across the jungle for some chi. Wow. Which isn't fair, because the Lionel ripoff's supposed to win it every time, and it's not fair!
Well, we only watched season 1. We learned there were 3 seasons or 4 seasons.
3 or 4. Yeah, I think it's 3.
Well, we're not going to sit through the remaining seasons. We sat through season 1. The way that it ended was not a cliffhanger. It was a disappointment. Normally, I don't speak this way about shows, but knowing that this was the replacement for 2011, and even worse, Thundercats Roar is a replacement for 2011, just reboot the 2011 series, finish the story, use the same voice actors, and give us what we want. Stop trying to give us reasonable facsimiles, because they're not facsimiles, and it definitely isn't equal exchange. I need Edward Elric here now, so that he can get rid of this piece of crap and get us back the show that we want to see.
Now there's like so much in here we can get into. Maybe we'll in the future, but there's so much in here that's just not right. You could tell what was a trope. Some parts they were trying. They were really trying to make this interesting. Like the music, everything except the intro music, which was like a rock band in a mystical fantasy anthropomorphic magic land, didn't work.
To me, it sounded like they went to YouTube and used some non-royalty
free,
music and put it over it.
Yeah,
and it didn't even match with
I think they were trying. In some parts, they had some interesting ideas. I think in some parts they tried to make it interesting, but they didn't. And I think one of the worst parts of it that Mama Entertainment is pointing out a lot was that the voice for Lionel, I'm not kidding, Linus. His name Linus or Lionel or something. It's lion. It's a lion pun. They couldn't use Lionel, so that's the best they got. The way he speaks reminded you of Johnny Test. And they're in the fantasy realm with Chima and magic and swords and the past guardians being four-legged animals, which was actually interesting for 5 minutes. And then you got this guy, hey dude, like, is he Michelangelo now? And then Mama could not stand him talking because this is how he sounded. And I'm like, I guess they want him to sound cool, like they had Lionel sound cool, so they had him sound a little modern, because a lot of them sounded like modern day people rather than a fantasy realm anthro animal. Mm-hmm. And so I think they're trying to make him sound cool.
Well, I prefer, again, just to see 2011, a reboot of 2011, same voice actors, finish the story, give us what we want. I think this was, I'm sure it was done with the best of intentions. No, I'm not, because since they just didn't want to pay more money for animation for the show that they had. So never mind that. This was not a good decision. Now, I'm going to say, if you've seen Legends of Chima and you totally disagree with us, and you've either watched it on your own or maybe with younger children for whatever reason, let us know in the comments below why you think that this was a show that gets your approval. Mm-hmm. Because I'm sorry, after watching the entire season, there's not one episode that I can pick that I say I like. There's not one character that I could say I like. The music wasn't good. The writing wasn't done well. The animation was Lego, and that's the only thing they had going for them. That they had the animators for Lego doing the animation. That's the one bright spot I can find.
Yeah, because at least the designs of all the places and the kingdoms and stuff, they actually looked pretty good. I could imagine those being real life sets. They looked very detailed and very well done. That's the best compliment I can give the show, was its set design.
That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Now with that, if you've seen this show again, let us know what you think in the comments below.
Oh, and don't forget, there's one character left. Dom Della Whoosh. That's it. You don't know what that is? Look it up. You're going to be laughing. Then be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to get updates on future podcasts and Paws videos. Thank you so much.
Definitely not more Legends of Chima.
No. So thank you so much for watching. I'm Ask Entertainment.
And I'm Mama Entertainment.
Have a toontastic day.
Peace.
the mountaintops, rivers and streams. Plucking sunlight from the sky in my pocket. Give it to you later on in the form of a locket. People in the back, for the people in the front, for the people on the side, for the people on the front, for the people in the middle or the alley, on the bump, and everybody who just